My name is Bill Ganley, owner of BRIA Disc Golf. So the BRIA Pro Series started off as an idea from all the feedback from the pros in our area that there just wasn't enough events. You know, we took that idea and we reached out to companies like Gatekeeper and a couple others as well to work on a series of events that gave back to the pros. Also highlighting a couple of courses within our area that play a little differently from each other and really was an overall challenge for everybody. Those courses being Camp Tecumseh, then we go to Thompson Park, then we travel up to Warwick, and then back down to Doc Kramer. All different courses, all different types of layouts and challenges, like I said, but really gave a good idea of what disc golf in the Northeast, and particularly in our region, was like. The first course is Camp Tecumseh, which is on a private property that's owned by the Salvation Army. John and the whole crew over there have been great. They developed this course that starts off in the woods and ends out in the field and gives a little bit of challenge for everything, including OB. There's a creek that runs through a good chunk of the course. And when you get to the field holes, the wind definitely is a factor. Beautiful property and definitely one to come play if you come to New Jersey. We're really excited to have a special commentator for the series as well. I'd like to introduce AJ Risley.
Hello everyone, thank you Bill. This is final round lead card action at the 2021 BRIA Championships in Camp Tecumseh. It is the first stop of the 4-part series, the BRIA Pro Series. Thank you to our Patreon supporters for making this coverage possible. My name is AJ Risley. It's a clear day in March in Pittstown, New Jersey. And let's see who is on our lead card today. We've got Steve Brinster from Warwick, New York, Finlay Buchanan-Jacobs from Burlington, Vermont, Justin Choka from Newton, New Jersey, and Brandon Koppenjan from Barnegat, New Jersey as well. As part of this BRIA Pro Series, players will accumulate points for each person they beat or tie in each of the 4 events. And the 3 highest point totals for MPO and the top FPO player will qualify to be in a skins match at the end of the series. Let's jump right into it. Hole 1, 280 feet. As you can see, we cross over a creek and play from right to left. And this putting area is kind of tricky. A couple big trees and a log behind the basket. Steve shot 13 under par, 1027 rated during the first round of the BRIA Championships. Looks like he's got a fairway driver in his hands. And he's playing that right side, but finds a tree. And that puts him back in the middle of the fairway, though. Finlay Buchanan-Jacobs, young player who originally lived down in this New Jersey area and then moves to Vermont. Let's see if that has any effect on his game. On the first hole, at least, he plays a little wide right and gets an extreme kick off to the left side. New Jersey local Justin Choka, also shooting 12 down in the opening round to tie for second. Decent trajectory, just a little bit low, stays in the middle of the fairway. And rounding out the lead card, Brandon Koppenjan. Plays right down the desired gap. Decent skip, but not quite a putt. Like Bill mentioned in the intro, we are in the woods, and Justin navigates through all the trees, skips right next to the basket, and he'll have about 18 to 20 feet for par. Great flight by Steve. Whoa, skips right next to the basket, almost touches the bottom of the cage. Finlay is off on this left side, somehow finds a line through all the trees. And here we have the best drive of the group, Brandon, still at least 80 feet away. Good touch. Finlay up and over the log in the basket for par. Good par putt from Justin. And here is Steve to clean up for par. And Brandon as well. Hole 2, 317 feet. Pretty straight tunnel down this nice little easement right here, past a couple of smaller trees. Looks like Steve has a rock in his hand. Classic mid-range from Innova Champion. Looking great, a little left. Oh, and it kisses that tree. And he might have a putt. He's up there close to the basket, but pretty far left. Finlay with a lot of power. Oh, and it turns over and kicks a tree on the right side. He says it's in the creek. Let's see what happens. Justin lets one loose a little high, and he'll join Steve on the left side of the green there. And Brandon lining up a forehand. Hugs it, hugs the right side, and he asks it just to get through, and it does. That's a long putt for birdie. And hey, what do you know? Finlay was right. He is right up against the creek. And again, not a clear line on his approach, so he's going to go back to his harp, try to find some kind of little blade hyzer almost. He'll have that putt for par. Justin, unfortunately, in some kind of bush here. Yeah, and he's forced to just lay up around the outside. And here we have Steve for birdie to extend his lead to 2. Oh! High right side chains, does not want to reel him in that time. The last birdie attempt. Oh, the height was right, the power was right. Looked like he had to bend it around a couple trees there. Brandon will settle for par. Good pars for the entire card there. Let's move over to hole 3. Again, we're going to be in the woods. 273 feet, very tight initial gap, hard right turn about 2/3 down the fairway, and there's a creek behind the basket that does play as out of bounds. We'll probably see a few sidearms on this card. And one from Steve Brinster, who is probably known as a backhand specialist. Let's see if he can execute here on hole 3. Oh, looks great.
Nice shot, Steve.
Oh, he finds a skip.
Is that OB?
I think so,
It's
yeah.
definitely OB.
Is it over the creek, OB?
The card thinks it's OB.
That might have gone over the creek.
I don't know.
If it went over the creek, it'll be safe.
That was really great. Yeah, that's pretty.
Lots of power on Finlay's sidearm. Looks like it got through clean most of the way. Justin going with the backhand. Let's see if he can bend it around the corner. Oh, out of bounds long in the creek. Brandon goes to the fell-in. Gets around the creek, but around the corner, OB in the creek. And there's Steve's drive. That skip did vault him over the creek and kept him in bounds. So he's got this long look for birdie. Again, another chance to extend his lead over Finlay and Justin. Oh, right side chains for the second time in 2 holes. And here's Justin to come back for par. Just in there. Brandon takes his meter, connects on the par putt as well. Finlay with the solo bird. And for the first time of the round, we've got a tie at the top. Steve is taking a provisional here just in case creek and beyond is OB. He sinks the putt. So the result is the same score either way. A 3 on the card for Steve Brinster. Hole 4, first par 4 of the day, 550 feet. You can see here we play down this hallway, take a turn to the left, find our way through a couple different hallways of trees. There's a wide route on the right, and we keep going left to the basket. For the locals, this is 4's tee to 5's basket to make a 550-foot par 4. Finlay's got the box and he's tied for the lead. Oh, he plays a little wide. Hits a tree. And like you said, just flops down on the right side of the fairway. I think Steve has that rock in his hands again. Wow, just pushes the very far right limit of that hallway and just glides and glides for about another 250 feet. Great shot by Steve. Justin follows his line. A little shallower hyzer and finds a skip. Man, 2 great drives. Brandon going back to the forehand. It's kind of surprising, but he gets that turn. He's got a lot of speed. Oh, and there's that speed giving him that bigger skip. Great shot by Brandon as well. Finlay from the rough early right. And he didn't really like it. It looks like it might have hit a tree trunk or something and ended up well short of the basket. Lots of evenly dispersed big trees in Brandon's line there. Let's see what Steve can find. Okay, he goes inside hyzer, gives it some height. Great display of touch by one of the all-time greats. Justin got way down there. He's almost putting at this basket. And he's right up next to it for an easy birdie. Oh no. Finlay's third shot finds a little bit of foliage right before the basket, even though it's March. There's not really much foliage on the trees. I guess he just found a tree. Oh. Brandon's birdie attempt from circle's edge comes up just short. Here's Steve for birdie. Up and in. Plenty of chains on that one that time. First birdie of the round. Steve will move back up into the lead. Great putt by Finlay.
Now it's top 8.
Good par save after a couple bad kicks. He gets up and down for par. Justin has this for birdie. Should be no problem. He moves into a tie for second place with Finlay. And that lovely gentleman offers to pick up Brandon's disc, but no, this is sanctioned tournament play. Brandon must tap out on his own. Well done, Brandon. And let's see what hole 5 has in store for us. Slightly uphill, 234 feet. Again, this is a little bit like what we saw in the previous hole's approach. There's a bunch of big trees evenly dispersed throughout this fairway, the space between the tee pad and the basket. Looks as though there's a gap on the right side, there's a gap on the left side, there's a gap wide left. Let's see what Steve is trying to do. 234 feet uphill. He's reaching for an AVR, it looks like. A lot of hyzer and a bit left. And he knows it was offline. He's asking for it to just go. I think he'll be pin high, circle's edge to the left. Let's see what Justin has up his sleeves, short sleeves. Oh, and he goes direct route at the basket, baby flex. It looked like he had the distance dialed perfectly. And Finley's going that wide left route that I spoke of with the forehand. Oh, wow, there it is. Yeah, he likes that hyzer release on his forehand with something overstable, kind of makes the disc thinner and therefore can find plenty of gaps through the trees. Brandon going forehand as well, but he'll go and hyzer release on that right side that I mentioned at first. He's got a putt. And here's Steve just inside 30 feet for birdie to start off the star frame. Oh no. Spoke too soon. He finds center cage. Easy birdie putt for Brandon. And that means that Justin and Finlay are inside of him even closer. And just like that, we have a three-way tie at the lead.
Hi, my name's Justin Choka, and we're going to be opening up a Farmstead Disc Golf Course in Lafayette, New Jersey. Make sure to come and check it out.
First, we're going to go over to hole 6, 755 feet, par 5. Tight gap off the tee, and then through here, we're going to look for some lines. There isn't one defined line, but basket is tucked in there past all these trees. This is a par 5. It's a bit of a grueling 755 feet. And thanks for the shout out, Justin. You've got the box.
Yep.
Laces it right down the middle, gets a little bit of early turn. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, there it's gonna be.
Good looking rip by Finlay.
Where you start seeing lines through the woods on the left side. But
He asked for it to get lucky, and it sure did. Didn't hit anything. Brandon is lining up yet another forehand drive. Oh yeah,
yeah, that's perfect. Great shot.
great control of that turn. Oh, Steve says eagle time.
Yeah.
Little low out of Steve's hand to get up and over that crest. But he's right in the middle, and here he is in the fairway. But gosh, look at all those trees that he's going to have to navigate through. I think being late winter and before all the leaves have grown, this makes this woods golf a little bit more tricky. Steve finds a good flight, but then also finds a tree trunk. He advanced well down the fairway. Here's Justin's approach. Oh. Catches an early tree. He will not advance that far, but he'll still be in a decent line. Finlay up against the tree in a bush. Luckily, he's got some good forehand skills. Oh. And I think if he would have missed that, he might have been well down the fairway, probably right in the middle, easy up and down for birdie. Brandon going back to the forehand, Anheuser. And he avoids plenty of trees for a while. We'll see. Wow. Big shot by Finlay up and over some of those smaller trees. Rest of the card loved it, so he must be in circle one. Kind of tough to tell, but it looked like Justin hit his initial gap and then found a late tree trunk. And here we go, Steve again in the middle of the fairway. Plenty of opportunity. Great touch with that hyzer release. Looks like Steve will have a short birdie putt. Great backhand approach by Brandon there. This is Finlay for par. Oh. Oh, sorry, I misspoke. That was Finlay for birdie, actually. Couple big forehands by Brandon there sets up an easy approach and short putt for his birdie. Steve played this hole well down the middle of the fairway, and he'll also have a short putt for birdie. Finlay and Justin, though, they found their fair share of trouble, had a couple throws that did not advance that far. They'll take par. Steve regains the outright lead at 15 under par through 6 holes of the second round. And going over to hole 7, this is a temporary hole, 202 feet. The drone is flying down this left side route and playing a quick right turn. The players will be throwing on the right side of the fairway and putting on an elevated basket that is hung off of a rather large tree limb. Brandon goes Anheuser forehand.
That was right.
Oh,
I was going to be under the basket.
I'll take your word for it, Brandon. Steve going right side as well, lining up a hyzer. Little tight. Oh.
This might be the worst hole ever.
Oh, it
Hit that little
hit the hill, I guess.
Justin comes up just a bit short. Misses most of the trees, but he'll still have some of a putt to make. Here's Finlay.
Oh, glance off the branch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very fortunate tree kick there. And it looks like Finlay skipped out into the open. Steve still has a chance at birdie here from a little over 70 feet. He's going to have to spin it. Oh. Bit outside on his release, he finds 2 trees. Still going to have quite a bit of a putt left for par. This is outside circle 1 for sure. And Steve comes up a bit short right, and with a little bit of work left for bogey. Here's Justin, a long birdie attempt. This would vault him into the lead. Oh! And he gives it the height, but just a bit outside right. Here's Finlay for birdie. This would also vault him into the lead. Oh, and he catches a lot of strong side chains, and the basket pushes him out. Not strong enough. And unfortunately, that is a par for Finlay on this short par 3. But with Steve taking bogey at best, Finlay and Justin will still gain a stroke, and they will move into a 3-way tie for the lead, the second 3-way tie of the lead during this final round. Justin taking just about every precaution to make sure the basket is nice and still for Steve there. And what do you know, it worked.
Welcome to new BRIA Disc Golf Store in Wall, New Jersey, home of the largest disc inventory in the region. An ever-growing inventory of discs from all the top brands including Discraft, Innova, Dynamic Discs, MVP, Discmania, and Prodigy. As an authorized retailer for Zuka, grip equipment, and our expanding apparel selection, you'll feel good and look good for your next round. Easy access from Route 18, 195, and the Garden State Parkway. Head to our website to see our growing online inventory, store hours, and other updates. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you to BRIA Disc Golf for sponsoring this video and this series. Hole 8, 327 feet. We're gonna start busting our way out of the woods a little bit here. Off to the left side is nothing but open air. On the right side, tree line. We might see some forehands, especially from Brandon and Finlay. Brandon playing a beautiful shot, plenty of height. A little bit short, but he'll be on the edge of circle one looking at birdie putt. Here's Justin. He's going to try to keep one on an Anheuser angle throughout that whole flight in order to not fall away too far down the hill. Oh, but too much Anheuser. Finds early tree coming into the basket. Finlay going back to the forehand. Well-rounded game for this young man. And there goes that disc. It's flying back. Oh, it's getting a roll. Roll back to the basket. Back to the basket. Almost. Let's see what Steve has cooked up for us here. Ooh, tight line. Just right. Oh. Oh! Wow. Steve Brinster just barely off the cage there. And the disc sits down well within 10 feet. Perfect shot by Steve. Justin with a long birdie putt. It had the energy, but was just a bit left. Finlay with a birdie attempt. Ooh. Good run back there from Finlay, just off the cage. And here's Brandon for birdie from about 25 feet.
Yep, great to Brandon.
Easy putt for Brandon there. He moves to 14 under, and that will put him in a tie for second place. I don't want to jump the gun, but I think Steve is going to make that birdie putt and move to 15 under and solo first. But first, Justin for par. And also Finlay for par.
Nice drive, Steve.
He hit basket.
Yeah.
I called it.
Were you dreaming for that thing to go in or what? Was it going like 4 miles an hour when it came to the basket?
Over to hole 9, 523-foot short par 4. We're going to play around to the right. The basket is tucked in behind this corner here. Most players will play off to the left, play a 2-shot hole. Some players might try to cut that corner and get lucky. And there's Brandon playing out into the open field on the left. He puts himself up that hill so he'll have a better height advantage to go up and over the bushes. Big drive from Steve. His card mates are asking it to get lucky, and it does. Misses all the trees. He'll have an eagle putt. Let's see what Justin can do. Similar line to Steve, but he's playing the early fade, and he lands right there in the opening to get to the basket. Great release by Finlay. Lots of speed behind his throw. Just a pure hyzer the whole way. He'll have another routine up and down for an easy birdie. Here's Brandon. You can see that height advantage that I was just talking about. There's a great forehand up and over the bushes into the green. Finlay also going forehand harp. He'll play through the gap. He asks for it to just go, and it does. He's got less than 15 for his birdie 3. And a forehand from Justin. Sits down again within 15 feet for a birdie 3. And let's see what kind of putt Steve has here for his eagle. At least 50 feet, if not 60. Oh. Comes up short of the lock, and unfortunately that will not get in, Steve. I'm sorry this time. Brandon for birdie. Circle's edge. Up and in, right on the pole. Great putt by Brandon. He's starting to feel it. It's taken him a few holes to get that putter warmed up. There's Finlay for another birdie. And Justin is within him. He'll clean up for his birdie and a star for him.
Always got a shout out to Innova. You know, they just do so much for me, supported me for so long. And Birdie Fuel, if you haven't tried their coffee out, I drink it just about every single morning. They have amazing stuff, huge line. Check out their website. And grip bags, best bags on the market. Nothing else to say about them.
Thank you, Steve. Over to hole 10, 317-foot par 4. Everything left of that asphalt road is going to be out of bounds. Basket is guarded by these 4 little trees here. Actually, they're pretty big trees. And they are directly surrounding the basket. No boring putts here. Oh. Brandon finds that out of bounds area to the left of the road. Steve plays a nice hyzer flip, a little inside. He gets enough distance to clear the OB. He'll have a long look for birdie. Justin plays a little bit wider than Steve there on the right side. Nice straight flight. He'll have that putt on the right side of the basket. Finlay splits the difference. Looks like he's got about a 20-footer for birdie. Brandon for par. Oh, wow. Tries to get the rest of his body engaged there with that step putt. And that was a long one, but he misses pretty far right. Luckily, there's a tree there. He's going to drop a couple strokes, though. Steve for birdie. Oh, man. Once again, he finds cage. Brandon drops in his bogey putt. And this is Justin here for birdie to tie Steve for the lead yet again. And he does just that. Right on that red tape.
If anybody wants some nice cold water, there's a whole pallet over the garage today.
Oh, that's nice. Nice water for our competitors. Steve taps out his par putt. Speed of play, of course. And Finlay in for birdie for the third time in the first 10 holes. We have a three-way tie for the lead. Three-way tie for the lead at 16 under par. Every competitor with 4 birdies, Steve and Brandon with 1 bogey each. And Jordan Ryan shooting 6 down on the first 10 of the second round here, moves into solo 4th place. There will be a BRIA giveaway at the end of this first video. If you could look for the pinned comment actually in the back 10 video, you'll be able to enter in that giveaway. Thank you again to all of our Patreon supporters for making this coverage possible. I'm AJ Risley. I'll see you on the back 10 out at the BRIA Championship.